Welcome back to part 2 of the most dangerous leadership culture that you may not even be worried about.
This is the Champion Forum podcast with Jeff Hancher, the forum for leaders, champions, and dreamers.
Take control of your career at Compassionate Care Unlimited, located in Western Pennsylvania.
Compassionate Care Unlimited is hiring RNs and LPNs. Choose your own schedule for a perfect work-life balance.
Plus, enjoy competitive pay and 24/7 personal support from their woman, nurse, and veteran-owned business.
Enhance your skills with their CPR training classes for individuals and businesses. Learn more at CompassionateCarePA.com.
Be uplifted, be supported, be part of the Compassionate Care Unlimited team and apply today.
Compassionate Care Unlimited is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey everyone, welcome back. If you are just tuning in and did not listen to last week's episode, part 1, I want to really encourage you, go back and listen to part 1 because this episode is going to make a whole lot more sense. In part 1, let me recap it really quickly because maybe it's been 7 days since you listened to that one. We talked about the most dangerous leadership culture that you're probably not thinking about very often. And we're talking about the successful culture, the company that's winning, right? That this is the organization with strong revenue. They got great margins. They got great competitive advantages. You know, they're growing the market share. And what we talked about in episode 1 of this, in session 1 of this, was how success can become this anesthetic where it's just kind of dulling what was once important to us. We talked about how urgency begins to soften a little bit, how standards begin to drift sometimes in seasons of success, and how leaders begin to tolerate what they would normally confront. And we identified 3 blind spots. We talked about confusing results with health. We talked about high performers that begin to cover for the weak performers and defend leaders. And the 3rd blind spot was avoiding feedback because you know what? Things just really aren't that bad right now, and why would I rock the boat? Today, we get a little more practical with the content. So, if you're leading in a winning season, I have 5 diagnostic questions that you have to wrestle with to kind of think, you know what? Is this where I'm at? And look, a lot of what I do on this show is I try to bring about blind spots. I'd rather bring them about before they become a problem, right? So we got to do a little bit of diagnostic. We got to get under the hood and find out where's the squeaking coming from. So here's the first question that I would challenge you if you are in a season of great success. Are we giving feedback proportional to performance or proportional to profit? Meaning, are you holding people to excellence even when the numbers are great? Or has your feedback intensity that you once had quietly decreased because revenue's up? I mean, we're kind of dominating right now. Listen, if your accountability rises and falls with financial pressure, you're managing panic, not principle. Meaning, I don't really say much when things are going well, but Lord help everybody if we don't hit our revenue goals for 3 months straight, because I'm coming in and I'm throwing chairs. What you're doing is you're managing panic. You're not managing principle. The principles, the culture, the core values, whatever you want to call it, that we've created in our company, those standards are bigger than me. They're bigger than you. They're bigger than everybody. They are the North Star. Question 2, where are we tolerating good enough because growth hides it? Where are we tolerating good enough because growth hides it? And this is an area that you got to look pretty carefully. Is there a leader producing results but maybe damaging the culture? Is there someone coasting because the team overall is strong? We've given them a place to hide, right? Because overall, I'm just looking at 50,000 feet. But at the grass level, there's people that are just here eating free lunch. Is there behavior that you would not accept in a downturn or in a crisis that currently you're just kind of looking past it because it's just not worth it. Because you know what, by the way, things are going pretty good. Question 3 of the diagnosis. Would our accountability survive a downturn? Our current accountability, would it survive a downturn? Meaning, like, if margins tightened tomorrow, you woke up tomorrow and next thing you know, it's not what it was today. Would you suddenly start enforcing standards that you're currently ignoring? If so, I hate to be the one to report it, but I got to tell you, your culture, it's situational. And that's not a good culture. Healthy cultures are principle-driven, not panic-driven. Question 4. Are our high performers in our company, are they energized or are they exhausted? Have you asked them? Have you asked your peak performers if they're energized or exhausted? This doesn't, I'm not asking you what you think or what your opinion is, or gosh, if somebody was making that much money, how could they be exhausted and upset? No, I'm asking, have you asked them? Have you asked them questions like, hey, in your opinion, where do you think we might be lowering the standards? Where do you think maybe we're lowering the bar and we shouldn't? Hey, peak performer. What are you carrying that maybe you shouldn't be carrying? Is there something that you feel like you're taking responsibility for that maybe really it's not yours? You know, your strongest people, they know exactly where accountability is weak. That is a guarantee. Take it to the bank. They know. Matter of fact, it wouldn't surprise me if your peak performers don't have a group text chat talking about it, if this is the culture inside your company. They're talking about it. They're not talking to everybody about it, but the peak performers, they're having lunch at Panera Bread talking about, can you believe so-and-so bad-mouthed so-and-so in the meeting, called him a curse word, and the boss just stood there and said nothing. Can you believe that? I got to tell you. And they feel like they're the one that's always cleaning up the pile, right? If you ignore this, you will eventually lose these peak performers, or at best, they're going to stay and they're going to check out. And then we have question 5. Is feedback normalized or is it rare? Is it situational? You know, in strong cultures, the strongest that I've been a part of, feedback is not dramatic. Feedback is not explosive. What feedback is in healthy cultures is that it's consistent. It's very clear. It's expected. If feedback feels heavy every time it happens, that is your sign that it's not happening enough, because it's kind of awkward. It's kind of weird. So there's our diagnosis. Let's transition a little bit from diagnosis to, all right, Jeff, you called us all out. You made us all feel bad about ourselves, right? Well, hey, here comes some correction. Here comes some opportunity. Hey, don't hate the messenger here. You know, I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm not going to leave you out there to die. Hey, good news. We have just bubbled up some self-awareness, and self-awareness is the beginning of correction. And so now what we have, congratulations, if this is you, let me be the first to congratulate you. We have just uncovered a golden opportunity. Here's the first thing that you do. You got to re-anchor to the standard. You got to re-anchor to those high standards that got you here in the first place. Not revenue targets. I'm not talking about revenue targets. I'm talking about behavioral standards. What does excellence look like here? What does ownership look like in this company? And what does accountability look like here? Clarify it, communicate it, reinforce it. And then second, Normalize firm feedback at every level of your company. And look, if you have let off the wheel on this one for some time, the reentry is not going to be fun. It may even come with some level of turnover, but I got to beg you to put this back into the culture. Feedback should never feel like an event. It should never feel like an event. It should feel like leadership. Clear expectations, clear feedback, and clear accountability. When feedback becomes normal, it stops feeling like a personal attack. It's normal. The third thing that you can do is model this at the top. Model it from your chair. Model it from your office. Model it from your title. If senior leaders are not receiving feedback, the culture is not going to sustain it. Invite the feedback in. We need the feedback. And start with your peak performers, please. You want to start asking your team some tough questions. You want to start asking your team questions like, what am I tolerating that I shouldn't be tolerating? Hey, where am I unclear? Hey, where am I avoiding tension that maybe I'm overlooking? And believe me, it wouldn't be my intention. But what am I avoiding maybe that I need to address? And listen, can I just take 1 minute and talk to the person listening right now that has allowed this to happen in your in your culture, in your company? Just thinking about asking people these questions that I just gave you, it probably scares you to death. And I get it. But if you truly care about your company, and you truly do care about your people, and I believe that you do, I'm begging you to do the hard thing. The fourth thing that you can do: reward accountability publicly. Publicly. Make it a badge. Celebrate the person that owned their mistake. Recognize the leader who had the hard conversation that maybe compromised a high performer for the sake of the standard, for the sake of the culture. Affirm the team that raised the standard. Affirm the team member that held the standard, that is boosting the standard. And do it publicly. Have a parade. Hip, hip, hooray. We got to let people know what good is. We got to let people know what great is. Because what gets celebrated, it gets repeated. The fifth thing: address the drift immediately. There's going to be drift. There's always going to be drift. Culture drifts on its own. It does not need your help to drift. It's like being in a canoe on a river. You can stop paddling, and the river is going to go downstream, or the canoe is going to go downstream the second you stop paddling. It's kind of like that with culture. If you're trying to get upstream, by the way, success is upstream, then you got to row. You can't ever stop rowing, even when your muscles hurt, even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it. You got to keep rowing, because the culture that you're trying to build, it's upriver, and we got to go. When you see standards slipping, do not wait for the crisis moment. Handle it early, handle it calmly, and handle it directly. Your team's counting on you to do this, because this is what we call leadership maturity. It's not the easy thing. I got it. The leader that's doing this is not doing this intentionally. Matter of fact, to your face, people are probably even telling you how much you love them, how much they love you. The company gathering at Christmas, it's fist bumps, hugs, and high fives. I believe you're genuinely a good person. And that's probably why they're not telling you anything to your face. But what's happening in that group chat? It's killing the culture of your company. Let me leave you with this. Success is a gift. And I'm glad that you have this gift if you are this company. But can I also remind you, success is also a test. It tests whether you will You will protect discipline when you no longer feel desperate. Because, man, when you were desperate, man, you guarded accountability. You guarded discipline. But, man, when you're out here making it rain, are you still going to protect discipline and accountability? Success is going to test whether or not you're going to guard standards when nobody is pressuring you to. Because here's what I know about business cycles. And if you're listening, you know this is true. Every market is going to shift at some point. Every advantage that you have today, it's eroding by the day because the competition is coming to innovate. And when that moment comes, the culture that you built during comfort, it's either going to sustain you or it's going to expose you. Listen, I'm here to help. I've dedicated my life to helping. You know, my wife says all the time after she listens to one of the episodes, I feel like you yelled at everybody for an hour. I mean, hear my passion. Look, if this is resonating with you and you know, hey, look, Jeff, you're talking to me, and you know that your organization needs to strengthen the muscle of firm feedback and accountability, then I want to personally invite you to an upcoming event that I have. On April 16th, 2026, in Pittsburgh, I'm hosting the Firm Feedback Experience. And let me tell you something, this is not theory. This is hands-on equipping experience built around the principles of our national bestseller, Firm Feedback in a Fragile World. Many of you have probably already read it. We walk through how to deliver clear, confident, and healthy feedback, how to build accountability that strengthens culture instead of damaging culture, how to lead firmly in this world that we're in today that often confuses clarity with harsh. I'm telling you, there is a path to it. There is a path to healthy, firm feedback in a culture that might be compromised. If you're serious about building a culture that's not just successful, but that it's sustainable, then I would love to see you in Pittsburgh in April. You can find all the details that you need at jeffhancher.com/event. That's jeffhancher.com/event. Listen, I'm grateful, I'm happy that your company is thriving. But know this, success is a season. Strong cultures are a decision. Make the decision. Don't allow success to become your blind spot, and keep turning the pressure into potential.
The Champion Forum Podcast with Jeff Hancher. Lead, inspire, win.